In today's readings, we encounter two powerful stories that speak to us of God's providence and the true sustenance that comes from Him alone. In the first reading from the first book of Kings, we find the prophet Elijah in a state of deep despair. He is physically and spiritually exhausted, fleeing for his life, and filled with such hopelessness that he prays for death under a broom tree. Yet, in this moment of utter despair, God does not abandon Elijah. Instead, He sends an angel who touches Elijah and provides him with a hearth cake and a jar of water, saying, "Get up and eat, else the journey will be too long for you." This bread and water, simple yet divinely provided, give Elijah the strength to continue his journey for 40 days and 40 nights to the mountain of God. This story resonates deeply with the gospel reading, where Jesus reveals Himself as the bread of life. After miraculously feeding the multitudes, Jesus teaches that the true bread from heaven is not the manna given to the Israelites in the desert, but His very own body and blood. "I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never hunger, and whoever believes in me will never thirst," He declares. Yet, the people misunderstand His words, seeking only the physical satisfaction of earthly bread, missing the profound spiritual nourishment He offers. Elijah's encounter with God's provision and Jesus' declaration of being the bread of life are intimately connected. Both reveal God's desire to sustain us not just physically, but spiritually. Just as Elijah needed the bread provided by the angel to continue his journey, so too do we need the Eucharist, the true bread of life, to sustain our journey towards eternal life. In our own lives, we may encounter moments of despair, discouragement, or spiritual exhaustion. Much like Elijah, we may see others around us struggling in their own deserts, feeling hopeless and lost. It is in these moments that God calls us to be His hands and feet, providing spiritual nourishment and hope. How can we help those in despair? First, we must be attentive to their needs, just as the angel was attentive to Elijah's. Sometimes, a simple act of kindness, a listening ear, a comforting word can be the bread that helps someone continue their journey. Second, we can offer them the bread of life by inviting them to experience the Eucharist. Encourage them to attend Mass, to find solace in the presence of Christ, who offers Himself wholly to us in the sacrament. Third, we must pray for them, interceding on their behalf, asking God to provide them with the strength they need to overcome their struggles, just as Elijah was strengthened by God's provision. Jesus, in declaring Himself the bread of life, invites us to seek our fulfillment not in the material things of this world, which are fleeting and temporary, but in Him, who offers lasting satisfaction and eternal life. In a world that often seeks fulfillment in wealth, power, or pleasure, we are called to prioritize our relationship with Christ, finding our true fulfillment in Him alone. Jesus, in declaring Himself the bread of life, invites us to seek our fulfillment not in the material things of this world, which are fleeting and temporary, but in Him, who offers lasting satisfaction and eternal life. In a world that often seeks fulfillment in wealth, power, or pleasure, we are called to prioritize our relationship with Christ, finding our true fulfillment in Him alone. As we partake in the Eucharist, we are nourished by Christ and called to become nourishment for others. Just as Jesus provides us with spiritual sustenance, we are called to be the bread that sustains others in their journey. By living out our faith, offering hope, love, and compassion, we can help others find their way to the bread of life, who alone can satisfy the deepest hunger of the human heart. God bless you.